You're listening to the Law Lives Project. I'm your host, Angie Vishianan. I'm a lawyer that launched a startup focused on changing the legal profession through mentorship. Through this podcast, we will explore the early career steps of real lawyers to help students see that many of us didn't have it all figured out at first. It takes time to find your way in the profession, so we want to shed light on some of the challenges people face in the earliest part of building their careers. Each week, I sit down with members of the legal profession and chat with them about the paths they took to get where they are now, including the times they stumbled, the times they fell, and the times they needed a little help. To encourage candor and vulnerability on this show, the attorney guests will remain nameless, but their stories will be laid bare for your consideration. This episode is brought to you by Attorneyed. Attorneyed connects law firms and law students through assignment-based virtual internships. Their online platform allows you to utilize and vet talent while staying profitable. The software is simple and easy to use. Simply create an account, post assignments, review credentials, chat with applicants, and even set up pre-engagement interviews before you get started. Attorneyed has internal vetting standards and only works with top candidates, so you know that you're working with high-quality talent regardless of the candidate you choose. You can create an account today at www.attornneed.com. Today's episode is a bit shorter, but we still have some great content for you. Our guest is a paralegal who's training to be an attorney. We'll discuss her career path from going to law school to working as a paralegal. We'll also touch on how she decided to go into personal injury law. Let's get started. Can you tell me, what were the reasons that you decided to go to law school?
Yes, I decided to go to law school because I remember I would watch a TV show in which an attorney would help people not be separated from their families, prevent deportation. So I was interested in being an immigration attorney, and that really sparked my interest in the beginning.
How did you decide which law school to attend?
I decided to attend Thurgood Marshall School of Law because I had a difficult time with the LSAT, and they were very gracious to accept me, and it was difficult for me to get into other law schools.
And did you pick that school based on geographic location or practice areas that you wanted to focus in, or how did you even find out about that school?
So I'm originally from Dallas, and Houston was not very far from Dallas. It's only 3 hours away. And so I was very, very thankful that they accepted me, and I decided to go there, and it was not going to be a long drive for me. So I decided that it would be a good place to study law at.
What were a few things that you wish that you knew before law school?
A few things I knew before are not to stress out so much, to always be prepared, be organized, which I already kind of knew, but these were things that you had to learn. And I also had to learn what was the best method for me to learn. There's various ways in which people learn or memorize or study for a test, and I really learned like what was my way of learning, because sometimes you hear other people say like this worked for me or this didn't work for me, but you had to go from there and decide what really does help you.
And did you have any idea what kind of law you wanted to practice before you went in?
I did an internship at an immigration attorney while I was attending undergrad, but I was always interested in helping people in whatever types of law there were out there, so I was always open to the idea of practicing any kind of law.
So did you research any of Thurgood Marshall's practice areas that they were focused on, or did you know whether or not they had a strong immigration program? Or?
Yes, so I did know that they did offer classes, immigration classes in the summer and during the year, as opposed to other schools that sometimes don't offer those programs. And they also offered the immigration clinic in the fall and spring.
So if you could have picked a different law school, would you have? And if so, why?
I think at first I may have wanted to attend a different law school, but I think I made the right decision going there because it's a very diverse law school, and I got to meet a lot of different people, and it's a lot of different people that have gone through many adversities. They have a strong work ethic, and they don't give up. They're fighters, so it was very nice to be amongst these people that were go-getters and very, very successful in the end.
Did you participate in any extracurricular activities while you were in law school, like moot court or law review or any clinics?
Yes, I did. I was part of the Hispanic Law Students Association. My third year, I was a historian. I also participated in a family law clinic. I was in the Environmental Law Society as well. I was in the Oil and Gas Club, and I did an internship my first year at the federal courts here in Dallas.
So can you describe what types of work you did during your internship with the federal court?
So what I did, I just would go and observe the trials, and I would get to speak with the judges and chambers, and they would sometimes tell me some information about, what it was like being a judge, what they had to go through, and then I also met other interns there as well. I would also go to another part of that federal building, which is the Executive Office of Immigration Review, and I would also get to hear the immigration audience hearings and get to meet the judges there as well. So I think it was a very neat learning experience to get to talk to the judges and listen to the hearings.
Wonderful. And can you tell me about your experience in the family law clinic? What types of things did you work on in that?
So in the family law clinic, we did a lot of, we did simple divorces. I actually got to go to a hearing for a name change of a child. So that was really interesting, getting to go to the court in Harris County. We interviewed clients. I translated for clients, things of that nature.
Okay. And what jobs or internships or activities did you do between your 1L and 2L year?
So that summer between my 1L and 2L year, that's when I did my internship at the U.S. District Courts for the Northern District of Texas, and that's when I was observing the trials, the civil trials, criminal trials at the federal level.
And did you get that job through your law school, or did you find a job posting, or how did you find that?
I actually found this when I was just searching online, and I was just lucky, and they called me in for an interview, and then I got it, and it just happened like that. It was just searching online, really.
Do you remember around what time frame that was?
Yeah, it was a really late time frame. It was at the end of my 1L year, approximately in March, April. Okay. So by that time, I thought I wasn't going to get anything, but they accepted me, and it was just kind of weird how it happened, but I'm glad it did.
So what jobs or internships or activities did you do between your 2L and 3L year?
Between my 2L and 3L year, I was actually at the Innocence Project. That's part of my school, which is a really cool program in which we help to exonerate victims wrongly accused of committing a crime. And so we did a lot of research, and we actually got to go to 3 prisons here in Texas, and we got to speak with the inmates. We got the opportunity to look at their cases, the facts of their cases. So it was overall a very great experience.
That's amazing. So were there any other experiences or connections or other factors that you think helped you develop the skills that you needed for your first post-law school position?
I think for me it was, I did a lot of networking when I was in law school, and I did meet some people, but since I attended school in Houston and not in Dallas, that was a little, it was a little complicated because all the people that I met in Houston or that were working over there were over there. So I had to come over here and kind of start all over. Although there are some people that are from Houston and they come over here, they start working here. But I think here it was just luck, applying and getting this position here. It was a blessing that they called me for an interview, and then I got it.
So how did you apply for your first position after law school?
So I applied through a staffing agency, and I had gotten another interview at another place, and I went to the other interview and they accepted me. But then after they accepted me, they called me from the staffing agency, and they were like, hey, there's this other position that we think you might be interested in. Do you want to go in for the interview? And I agreed, and I went in for the interview, and I got the job. And I started working there.
And what was your first position like? What is your title, and what type of work do you do?
So my first position right now is a paralegal. Right now I'm helping a lot with discovery. I'm in the mass tort department, and we just help to obtain a lot of information. We talk to clients. We look at medical records, billing records. We kind of have to piece everything together and put it into a document so we can turn over to the defendants.
So you're a paralegal right now, but you're going to be training to be an associate, right?
Yes, correct. So that's the plan. I'm going to be training for a while, and then I will soon be an attorney, practicing attorney.
Wonderful. So How did you decide on this practice area, mass tort and personal injury? I mean, I thought you wanted to do immigration when you went to law school. How'd that change?
I did want to do immigration initially, and I think I still would be open to the idea. However, this was an opportunity that came up, and I was always interested in personal injury as well. And I was like, why not? Maybe I may like it. So when I started working here, I discovered that I do like it, and I enjoy helping people who have been hurt, who have been injured in different circumstances. And I think it's very rewarding to be able to help them in some way. I mean, at least getting compensated with money or something. I know, sometimes they're injured and nothing can really replace what they've been through, but it's very rewarding getting to help them, and just helping being a plaintiff's attorney, I think would be really, really good for me.
Awesome. So you're plaintiff side?
Yes.
So do you think that you've chosen the right practice area or industry so far? Do you really like the work that you do?
I currently do. I really do enjoy it, and I think I will continue to enjoy it because as I'm going through the work that I have to do, I realize how much I'm helping people and how much I'm making a difference in their lives, even though if it might not seem like it at first, but I really am. And I think I'm becoming more passionate about helping people who have been in these situations that otherwise wouldn't be able to get any other help. So I think it's a really good opportunity to help people who have been hurt, who are minorities, who don't have economic freedom, and who are struggling in situations.
You're listening to The Law Lives Project with Angie Viscianen. This episode is sponsored by the authors of #Networked, a new book written by me and 19 amazing women lawyers who I met on LinkedIn. During the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, many of us were facing uncertainty in our lives and businesses. We went searching for support and community. We took to social media, and lo and behold, we found our soul sisters on LinkedIn. Who would have thought? I used to think LinkedIn was a glorified resume platform, but it's become so much more. Our group of lady lawyers grew to over 50 women. We laughed together, cried together, shared in losses and successes, and cheered each other on while we juggled practicing law, parenting, relationships, launching new companies, building online courses, side hustles, main hustles, podcasts, and more. 20 of us got together and self-published a book to share our stories about the early days of the pandemic, and we hope that it'll show others that you can find community even in the darkest of times. If you're searching for support or inspiration, please check out our book and read our stories. It's now available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback editions. Just go to tinyurl.com/networkedbook. That's networked with an ED on the end. Thank you to all of my co-authors for dreaming up this beautiful project and bringing it to life through sheer force of will and determination. And now, back to the episode. In your day-to-day activities, name some of the things that you do on a daily basis for your job,
so
like discrete tasks.
Okay, so what I do now is I have different cases, and in each case I have to get all the information that we need, all the information that they're asking us. So a lot of that information is missing, so I have to call the clients and ask them this information.
What type of information?
It's information regarding their medical records, their medical history, and other information they want to know, like the other side wants to know. So whatever they ask us for, we have to make sure that we produce that, making sure they sign authorizations, that they're producing evidence, that it's that evidence that is showing the injury. I also have to look at medical records, billing records, and have to piece everything together to make sure that everything makes sense, that the dates match up with the doctors, with the facilities, with the labs. There's just different things that you have to make sure that they're accurate, and just getting as much information as you can from the records. And if you don't have anything from the records, then just getting that information from the client.
So what types of clients do you normally work with? Are they all individuals? Do you work with any businesses? Or
I'm currently just working with individuals for this specific case that we're working on right now.
have you ever worked with other types of clients, or is it generally individuals?
So right now, this project, it's just with these individuals that I've worked with.
Okay, but for like your other projects that you will be doing in the future?
In the future, yes.
Do you know if you're mostly going to be still working with just single people or individual clients, or if you're going to be working with any businesses?
Yeah, most likely it's going to be individual and businesses. Right now, I don't really know the scope of it, but I'm pretty sure that I will be working with businesses as well.
And how much of your time do you spend interacting with clients as a paralegal?
I would say it varies, because for some cases we already have the information from the records and things like that, but sometimes we're missing a lot of information. We don't really have that information on the medical records or the billing history, so we have to call them, and we approximately, I would say, in a week it's probably like 10 hours, I think.
Okay,
yeah.
That's a significant amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because sometimes when you're on the phone, you have to spend a lot of time with them. You spend about an hour with each client. Mm-hmm.
So do you go to court with the attorneys? How much time do you spend in court?
I currently don't go to court because this is just part of the discovery phase. And when they do go to court, I don't go with them, since I'm just doing this work right now.
Okay. And how much of your practice is transactional versus litigation?
I would say most of it is transactional. I don't have much experience yet to know if how much litigation is actually involved, because I'm just, at my desk right now doing this job. So I don't know what it really entails, but I mean, I'm sure there is more to it than what I know right now.
Okay. So what are some of the best things about your job?
The best things about my job, I really enjoy working here. I like the environment. I like the people I work with. And most of all, I like what I'm doing. I like the type of work that I'm doing. I'm helping people who have been injured and who are going through difficult times in their life. And sometimes just speaking with these clients, and sometimes they just need somebody to talk to, and for me, just being there on the other side of the phone is rewarding, because I like to listen to others, and I like to, give some sort of comfort, because I know they're in times of need and trouble.
And be candid, what are some of the worst things about your job? If you had to say, these are the things that I absolutely don't want to be doing.
Well, sometimes it is difficult, because it's a puzzle that you have to do for each client. Sometimes it gets a little difficult trying to find the information that they're requesting, especially if the clients don't remember. So sometimes you just have to do your best effort, like really dig into the medical records. The medical records are sometimes really long, so you have to spend a lot of time looking and reading every little thing. And sometimes I've been able to catch things that were not discovered before, and so that helps our clients. And little details, it's very detail oriented, but I'm very detail oriented, and I like that. But sometimes it gets a little frustrating and stressful, just because it's a lot of information and you have to constantly be looking for things on the medical records.
Got to be pretty detail oriented.
Yes.
Huh? Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you wish you knew about your practice area or industry before you started working in it?
Some things that I wish I knew, I think it's the fact that it's very interesting, and you are really making a positive impact on other people's lives. And before that, I was not really. I mean, I was interested, but I was not that interested in it. And I think now I realize that you can really make a difference in this particular field, and I wish I knew this before going in.
And what are some things that you think even other lawyers don't know about your practice area?
Maybe other lawyers, I think the amount of time that you have to invest in trying to get all this information, because it's a lot of hours that you have to put in, and sometimes, if you have to meet your deadlines so that your supervising attorneys can review your work before it's submitted, it's definitely a lot of work. And it's very detail-oriented. You have to be careful of every little thing that you read or see, because you want to make sure that everything is accurate.
Okay. And how many hours do you typically work during a week or a month or a year?
So during the week, I usually work 40 to 60 hours. So this past week, I worked 60 hours because I had a lot of deadlines to meet. So they were all kind of back to back, and they all piled up on me. But I was able to finish. So it's approximately from 40 hours to 60 hours a week.
Okay, so what are some of the, associations, professional organizations that you're a part of?
Right now, before I passed the bar, I was part of the Dallas Bar Association, but as a student. So right now that I'm actually an attorney, I think I would have to pay the dues and the higher dues. So I was part of that Dallas Bar Association, and I think when I was back in Houston, when I was part of the Mexican American Bar Association in Houston, but that was also while I was a student.
Are there any specific associations that you're part of for your practice area?
No, not yet.
Like the Dallas Trial Lawyers Association or anything like that?
No, not yet. No.
Okay.
Since I just recently passed the bar and I've just been working, I haven't really invested time in looking into that.
Understood. So what character traits does someone need to possess to excel in a position like yours?
I think you have to be very determined, very patient, reliable, organized, very positive person, a go-getter. Like, you have to just not give up. Be a resilient person.
Okay. And what are some of the things that law school students can do to meet or network with other lawyers and legal professionals in your practice area?
I think it's very important to network and attend events. Just by joining an organization and being part of that mailing list, that's how you get notified, and you can go to these events and talk to other people, talk to other lawyers in the field, and you never know, they may offer you a job in the future, or they may know someone else that knows of a job, and that's how some people are able to get jobs. So I think networking is very important.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for someone who wants to follow in your footsteps?
Yes, I think it's very important to always be positive. If you fall, just get back up. I know it sounds cliche, but it really is the truth. You just have to keep getting up after failure. And I think also failure is a very important part of growth. You learn to be a better person. You become a better person overall. So just if you fail at something, it doesn't mean that it's over. It's only the beginning, and you can keep going and do whatever you want to do in life.
I think that's a great message. I think a lot of students, they think about failure as the be-all, end-all,
Right.
Well, they think that attorneys have to be perfect all the time because it's a high-stakes game, right?
Yes.
So I think that's a wonderful message to give them. So now I want to ask you a few questions about your experience being an attorney as a minority and as a female. So have you ever experienced any discrimination as a minority, racial discrimination in the workplace?
I don't believe I have in the workplace, and I honestly don't think I have. I may have, but I've just been too focused on getting my work done and doing what I have to do. But I obviously haven't noticed anything, or else something would have been done about it. But no, I don't think so.
Is your current firm very diverse?
Yes, it is. It is very diverse. We have a lot of bilingual people. I'm bilingual myself, so I like to help others and people that don't know English. I like to translate a lot for them also.
And as a woman, have you ever felt like you've been discriminated against for gender discrimination?
In the workplace also?
Mm-hmm.
I honestly have not.
Good.
I have not felt discriminated until this point.
And what about in law school?
No, I don't know if it's just I'm just being too positive, or if I was just so focused in what I had to do that I didn't notice, and I'm pretty good at noticing, and I didn't.
No, that's great to hear. I think, a few years ago, if you were a woman, especially if you were a minority female in the profession,
Right.
Everybody seemed to have stories.
Yes.
So it's good to hear that it is getting better.
It is. And as more women are going to law school and being attorneys, there's a lot of women who are judges, attorneys, so we're definitely representing, and the numbers are getting bigger, so that's really good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all your time today. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, everyone. That's it for today. Thank you to our guest speaker, and thank you to all of you for listening to another episode of the Law Lives Project. If you're a prospective law student that's interested in speaking with attorneys one-on-one, check out leguplegal.com. Leg Up Legal is an online mentoring platform that connects prospective law students with attorney mentors. Sign up for a membership today to learn more about the practice of law and see if it's a good fit for you. If you enjoyed this episode, I would appreciate it if you left a review on iTunes or any other platform that you're listening on. If you have any questions or comments about anything you heard on the podcast, or if you have ideas for guest speakers, please contact me by emailing me and my team at info@leguplegal.com. Thanks again, and don't forget to tune in next week.